So good evening, everyone.
Good evening.
Thank you for having taken the time to join us to have this little conversation. Uh, it is our second webinar of for this year, and we are celebrating a very important milestone this year, which is the foundation 30th anniversary. As both my colleagues, Steven and Marie-Claire, have made me have said, yes, it's the celebration of the foundation 30th anniversary, but Fonkoze, it's a family of three organizations. And without the support and the work that the two other members of that family are doing, the impact that we have will not have been the same. So that celebration hits the celebration of the achievement of the extended Fonkoze family. Fonkoze USA, Fonkoze Fondation Colis Épaules, and of course, Fonkoze Financial Services. Taking a step back and 30 years, as we say in Creole, 30 années, c'est pas 30 jours. But I was thinking, it was 1994. And it is in that landscape of adversity that the foundation emerged. Because if I remember correctly, I was super young. I was in ninth grade, if I remember correctly. It was the year of the embargo. I remember I really enjoyed it because I was not going to school every day. But just to show that Fonkoze emerged and the foundation emerged in a very difficult year. And since then, these 3 decades have been marked by diverse challenges, disasters, hurricane, a major earthquake in 2010, and political instability and unrest. But Fonkoze and the members of the family stood strong for these 3 decades. There's that words that it's used and a lot of the narrative that when people are talking about Haiti, it's the word resilience. It's not a word that I particularly like because it suggests that we are built to uh, to sustain adversity. We're built to suffer. Asian people are resilient. Yesterday, as I was preparing for a trip that I'm doing tomorrow, I got a phone call from a friend, and apparently at that same moment, he had an emergency. He told me I need to go and support the neighborhood watch and my because there's gang attacking our neighborhood, and he used the word resistance. That word I like better. I think that through these 30 years, Fonkoze has been doing resistance, as we say in Creole. And that resistance is not the resistance of just Fonkoze, but is the resistance of Haiti. It's the resistance of every single Haitian that wake up on a daily matter and dare to hope that tomorrow is going to be better. It's the resistance of all of us here that believe in supporting that amazing organization and these amazing people. Putting together that webinar, we also realized that for these 30 years, we will not have been able to have had this major achievement without the help and support of partners. And that's why we have Mercy, Mercy Focus Haiti with us that has been supporting a CLM program, specifically a community in Gwo Mòn. Betty was telling me as we're talking about that community that it's been so long that we consider them as family now. They are part of the family. That's what, make Fonkoze's intervention so strong. And that's what makes us, as we say in Creole, wozo. We are the weeds, we bend, but we never break. And from each adversity that we face, we see opportunity. We transform it into an opportunity. So today we're going to have a wonderful conversation to learn about CLM, the holistic approach that we've been using with the three organization, and as well a partnership with Mercy Focus Haiti. With that said, before I let the panelists to introduce themselves, I would love for Betty, which is the executive director of Mercy Focus Haiti, and she's very excellent, to also give some words.
Thank you so much, Ellen. It's so nice to meet you. And it is also so nice to see all the faces of our family. Marie-Claire, to see Samantha again, Stephen, Kevin. I didn't really, I have not met, but he looks familiar. And so many others. Thank you so much for the work that you do. And thank you for our collaboration. So let me just share a few things with you. So tonight is an exceptional evening. We celebrate the remarkable life changes in the Gwo Mòn community. This progress we are witnessing is truly a testament, like Ellen says, to the power of collaboration and strong partnerships, which is really very essential for organizations like ours. So those of you, I know most of you here, but some of you do not know me. I joined the organization a year ago, and I'm the executive director of MFOH. A great day indeed, because this organization is truly fantastic, as I'm sure Fonkoze is too. We provide, what do we do? Established in 2011, and I see some partners here, the founders here, and I'm thankful that they were able to join us. We continue to support various programs in Gwo Mòn, Haiti. We provide meals for students, contribute to tuition fees. We help physical and mentally challenged elderly individuals, and we engage in agricultural projects with the RJMs, and Sister Pat is here. And these projects have significantly impacted the community. Our rainwater harvesting program, which started in 2020, is a lifeline in addressing the community's critical water crisis, as Andy can tell you more about. So we partnered with Fonkoze for several years. And that is one of the reasons Ellen and I wanted to have this webinar to bring light and attention to CLM, Chemen Lavi Miyo, Pathway to a Better Life in English. So who am I in this, entire, I want to call it this chain of success that's happening in Gwo Mòn with the women. I just joined last year. So rightfully, and without further ado, I'm really honored to introduce two women who have been influential in advancing this work. Sister Kathy Thornton and Marian Grimes. They will share their experience and insight with you tonight. So I give them the floor.
Thank you
so much, Betty.
You're welcome.
Sister Kathy and Marion, please introduce yourself. Then I will ask Marie-Claire and Stephen to do the same.
Okay. Do you want to go first, Marion?
No, go right ahead, Kathy.
Okay, thanks. I'm Kathy Thornton, a Sister of Mercy and chair of the Accompanying Women and Children Committee of Mercy Focus on Haiti. And CLM is part of that committee. And I want to also share what Betty was talking about, that I'm truly privileged to be here to celebrate Fonkoze's 30th anniversary. I know how important anniversaries are, so congrats. My introduction to Mercy Focus on Haiti was in 2016, when 3 of us from Mercy Focus on Haiti were taking a trip to Haiti to learn more about what could we do for the women in Haiti. What are the needs there? And so during that trip, and we were also focused on the ultra poor. Our foundress, Catherine McCauley, was committed to and taught all of us, instilled in us, to care for the poorest of the poor. So connecting with CLM was absolutely perfect. So anyway, I'll never forget the moment when we heard the story of Pathway to a Better Life program. We were in a tiny little room in Mirabelais, someplace in Mirabelais, and Gautier was speaking to us, and he was one of the founders of Pathway to a Better Life. And so we were sitting there, crouched around in this little room with, it was filled with staff members and everything. And Gautier was speaking and talking all about all the parts of the program and how amazing they were and everything. Andy and Mary and I were absolutely riveted to and hanging on every word that he said. And I felt at some point I felt that I was listening to Catherine McCauley, the way he was talking about the care and attention given to the women and all the different aspects of the program that were connected to success. So anyway, he was telling us that women participants of the program would be moved out of ultra poverty in 18 months. Well, that was for us somewhat seemingly unbelievable, but we did believe. We were captivated by the compatibility between our hopes and dreams for people suffering in ultra poverty and this creative, practical, compassionate, person-focused, successful program named Pathway to a Better Life. Even the title was captivating. So this December, Mercy Focus on Haiti will have supported 800 women in the Pathway to a Better Life program. Mercy Focus on Haiti did not just find a stellar program, we found a partner. And our relationship has grown over and endured over the years. And we are most grateful to be part of this and to celebrate 30 years.
Thank you so much.
Yeah.
Sister Morgan.
One of the interesting things is that there are programs that Fonkoze has that can serve as postgraduate programs for our women who have completed their CLM. In addition to the 800 that Kathy mentioned, in December, we will be starting our 5th cohort, 5th group of women. So when we're finished in another 18 months, we will have served 1,000 women in the Gwo Mòn area. And there are some women who are capable of additional steps, or they also may need some supportive services. So one of the great things that I have found about Fonkoze is that our ability to call on them for those kinds of people. For example, we have just begun a boutique Santé program, which has been part of Fonkoze for several years. It's such a good program, that microfinance program, that they received an award in Europe of 100,000 euros because of the demonstration of great work of that program. And basically what it is brings the rudiments of healthcare to very remote areas. I like to think of it as sort of the medicine cabinet for communities that are very remote. So the leadership that Fonkoze has offered, we're very capable of announcing this to our donors, that this is a program conceived by Haitians, operated by Haitians, for the benefit of Haitians. And that is extremely important to us, to have the confidence in an organization that can do that. And it's important to our donors as well, because everybody reads the media on the terrible things that are happening. And if you're able to say, look, we've got a Haitian organization that finds workarounds, they're constantly adjusting to whatever the circumstances are, and are honed in on delivering services regardless of what's going on in the community. So I congratulate you for 30 years of wonderful service, particularly to the rural poor. And thank you for your collaboration and partnership with us in this program.
Thank you, Marion. Stephen, can you tell everyone what's your role and how long have you been involved with Fonkoze and CLM?
Yeah, my name is Stephen Werlin, and I'm talking to you from the CLM office in Maouge in far northwestern Haiti right now. I've been a member of the CLM staff since 2010. I've been a member of the Fonkoze staff since 2009, and I started working with Fonkoze really in 2005, and I'm very glad to be with you all today. Yeah, so I think that's all I have to say.
Thank you, Stephen. Marie-Claire, can you do the same?
Sure. Good evening, everyone. I'm Marie-Claire Dorcely. I'm with the Fonkoze Financial Services. I'm a member of the executive team. I am the Chief Administration Officer in charge of administration and human resources. I joined Fonkoze in 2015. So next year will be 10 years.
Nice.
Yeah.
Right. Let's dive into our conversation. So Stephen, Haiti has been in the news, I would say, for the past 7 years, if not say 8 years, in a very negative way. We know that we're having some serious issue in Port-au-Prince, the capital, violence. It's very hard to get supplies out of Port-au-Prince to the countryside. Can you walk us through how that have affected CLM?
It's just very challenging. CLM, we have until recently been working in the 4 far corners of Haiti. We just finished our work really in the southeast. So we're working now in the south, in the center, and in the northwest. And moving around from one place to another used to be kind of a nuisance because the roads aren't very good. And but now there are roads that you can't take at all. You have to take domestic flights, even if they're only 20 minutes long, because there are a small number of areas that don't have a safe passage. Fortunately for us, we're able to work mainly with teams that we base in the areas where they're working. So I'm here in the Northwest where we have 2 staffs, and they all live here. So unless it's a matter of sending someone in to give them a hand with something, we don't have issues around personnel. Over the last, say, 2 years, there have been times when gasoline has been less available, and so transportation becomes complex. But yeah, as Erlan says, there always seems to be some kind of workaround possible. But the real critical thing for us is that it's become very difficult for financial institutions to maintain their infrastructure and keep it working. And we depend a lot on being able to get money from one place to another, to get it from the banks we work with, which is entirely our sister organization, SFF, and getting it into the hands of the families whom we work with. And moving money around for the banks has become very difficult. So the person who can really speak to how hard things have become recently is my colleague, Marie-Claire. I don't know if you want to say a few things about how
Sure.
the heck you're keeping your bank open.
Like Steven said, the first challenge has been finding the liquidity, because the liquidity comes from the main central bank, where their warehouse has been under gang control. So I think starting February, March, April, it was very challenging. They had a branch in the north. We usually would go from the north to fly to the south, from the south to drive to the southeast and to go. So it's been challenging and very finding creative ways to move, to find the liquidity, and once you find it, to get from one extreme to the other, and to do it in a safe manner, because like Steven said, a lot of our roads are not accessible. You have, again, even in the Gwo Mòn area, to access Gwo Mòn, you do have gang control areas. So we have been very creative, very resistant being challenges and innovative, but we have to supply. We have 45 branches throughout the country, so we just have to make ways, and some of those ways, is best that we don't describe it, but we do get it there. We do get it there, especially the CLM programs, and they've been patient with us. Times is flights, is helicopter, is boat. I mean, all the means necessary transportation. That's what we've been using lately to be able to get there. But yeah, it's been challenging.
Yeah, thank you for that insight. So I want, like, for the attendees to picture, so these are, like, areas that, in a car, you will get 2-3 hours stop. And now to provide services, they have to go around and use what we call in our Creole jargon, back roads that can take, like, 4, 5, 6 hours. And that really, double the logistics, and it makes the work more challenging. I don't know between Sister Cathy or Marion who's going to take that questions. You both have mentioned, have you have get in touch with Fonkoze in 2016, and been supporting that community in Gwo Mòn ever since. So my question would be, what are I would say the key changes that you have seen within that community during that period of time with the implementation of CLM?
Kathy, you want to speak to that?
Sure, I can give a few ideas. I think that the very fact of having in the whole Gwo Mòn area, not necessarily in the city itself, but or the whole villages where they all are involved. We're talking about 800 women who have come out of ultra poverty and who have developed skills to that change their life totally. And it's a permanent kind of change. It's not a temporary change, but they become participants in the local economy. They, they breed the goats and they sell things at the market. They learn how to sell things at the market. They participate in the life of the community. And so one of the women that at graduation recently, I believe it was, that she at graduation of the CLM program, they have a time for sharing of information, and the participants, talk about their experience. And one of the women at hers said that she had been sharing information in the village where she lived with the other women. What she was learning in the CLM program, she was sharing with other people. So, I mean, I think that's a contribution to the group, to the village, and the impact that has. I have her in my mind as now being somebody who's going to be a teacher. I mean, she's already teaching, but maybe she'll be a teacher in the school or something like that. So, and there was another woman who said at graduation about the program, she said, "Now I am a limena, Limena." And apparently that means an accomplished woman. And that's what she wanted to be. And so here is another person who considers, I mean, the self-esteem that she has, and that she spreads in interactions with others. So I think those things change the village. They change the community that people are engaged in. So I think they're great examples of, and they are women who had nothing, and 18 months later, we're doing this kind of stuff. We're interacting, so it's the impact, I think, is hard to describe, but that's the best I could do. So.
Mhm.
No, I think that was very thorough. Marion, do you want to add something?
Yes. One of the things that I observed was that when women start the program, they're very shy and not outgoing. And one of our sisters kind of described it this way. She said when they first went down to, and they took them to see the various stages of the CLM program, they took them to the first place. A woman had only been involved in the program for about 6 weeks. So she stood very much beside her caseworker and I love this because it's the eyes story. She did not look at people in the eye or anything. And mostly her caseworker answered the questions for her because she wasn't able to articulate them, her answer. And then they took him to the next place where the woman had been in for maybe 8 months and her children. And she was much better. She could stand on her own, and she quietly introduced her children and related well with the group. By the time they got to the third one, a woman who has just been through graduation, she came running down the hill from her house, bringing her children, and met them at the road, and was so happy to see them, and introduced herself and her children all talked. And it was, her eyes were on everyone. So it's the story of the eyes. If the eyes raised from the ground to looking at you, from looking at you to really enjoying your presence. And I think that's kind of indicative of what we're looking for. The other thing, I do not have children myself, but one of the mothers in our group talked about this. And she said, can you imagine how important it is for her children to see her being capable and responsive and being able to take care of them? What a difference it makes for those children to have that example before them of a mother who can cope with issues and problems and overcome. So I think those are true kind of reflections about it. And the one other thing that I would like to say is what I love about this program is all the money that we pay for programs and services and so on helps the local economy.
Yeah.
We tend to think of, you know, an old model for this kind of work is that let's collect things in this country and send them down for them. We simply do not do that unless it's something that's not available in Haiti. We would much prefer to raise the money and give them the money so that they can put that into their economy. And working with a group like Fonkoze allows us to have that in everything we do in cooperation with them. So I think that's really important.
Yeah, that's true.
Thank you so much. Betty, I saw you had your hand raised.
Yeah, it's such a great point. Thank you for bringing that, making that case. That is the only way, or one of the ways the economy will grow if we can reinvest in the country. Now, Marianne took me far from what I was going to say. Let me bring myself back. Listening to these stories from an outside perspective, and I do not mean that you guys are not family. I'm Haitian American, but sometimes I wonder if we would welcome that side of the women in our own house, because when they came back home, they look totally different because they get us. We cannot do anything wrong. These women are fierce as well. So I'll videotape these women for you one of these days.
Yeah.
They look at us in the eye as kids because we never grow up. And they tell us what to do. And Ellen and Marie-Claire and anybody here who grew up in a Haitian family can testify to that. Yeah.
Yes, we absolutely can. Stephen, I see you have your hand raised, but I just want to mention that we dive in directly and the impact of CLM, realize that, you know, that there might be some people here that, you know, don't know exactly what CLM is all about. So if you can give us a brief overview, that would be great.
Stephen?
Is he on mute?
No, he's on a mute. Stephen?
Yeah, I'm sorry, I didn't hear Elance's question.
A brief overview of CLM.
Oh, I see. Yeah, sure. So the Fonkoze family is basically about, if you boil it down to everything, it's financial inclusion, enabling people to have the tools they need to lift themselves, to move themselves forward. And it started mainly with the kind of work that Marie-Claire is doing, which is the work of providing microfinance. But at a certain point, the institution realized that there were some families too poor to benefit from microfinance. So if the Fonkoze family wanted to reach all Haitians, it needed to add what it was doing. And so it found a program that was already had already been developed in Bangladesh. And we learned how to do it. My colleagues learned how to do it. It's an 18-month program. We think of it as a sort of comprehensive big push, but it has several basic parts. We train people in managing a manner to earn income, like raising goats or like undertaking small commerce. And then we just give them the assets that they need to start their business. At that point, we could turn away and say, okay, you have the know-how and the tools, have at it. But we don't do that. We stay with them for 18 months and we send a case manager to meet with them once a week to coach them through those first two steps. So Sister Kathy mentioned how much she likes the name of the program, but she didn't explain the origin of the name. The origin of the name is this. When my colleagues were starting to implement this program, they said, we cannot give anyone a better life. What we can do is show someone the path to a better life and then take the first few steps with them, because there are bound to be some initial little failures. And you want to get them through those initial failures to eventual success. So once we help them establish their income generating activities, there's a whole set of things we do to complement that. We help them gain access to free healthcare, because bad health is both a cause of poverty and a result of poverty. And if we can't help people stay healthy, they're not going to be able to permanently change their lives. We do that by direct access to healthcare. We also do it by a range of preventative measures like water filters, like helping them build new homes, like helping them install latrines. But the bottom line is, we accompany them for 18 months. We set up little savings groups so that they learn the habit of saving. And at the end of 18 months, the vast majority of them are ready to continue without further support. Now, that doesn't mean that they don't benefit from additional programs. And Miriam was nice enough to start to refer to some of those programs. But in a nutshell, that's really all CLM is about. They say that giving someone a fish, they eat for a day, and teaching them to fish, they'll eat for a lifetime. It's completely false, because people need more than the know-how. They need the tools, and they need a favorable context. And CLM is about helping them get the know-how, the tools, and a favorable context. How's that, Erlans?
That's great. Like, I don't think that, anyone could have done it better.
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
Thank you, Stephen. So, Stephen mentioned, that, CLM is doing some of the work, but, with this financial services, there's some complementary work that is being done. Can you walk us on, how SFF with the microloans complement work that is being achieved and done by CLM?
sure. So after graduation, those that are successful, like Stephen said, some are able, those that are continuing of the path to entrepreneurship, because not necessarily everybody who graduates CLM is going into commerce or start. So those continue up in the path of commerce, we assist them with microloans, right, to help them start the business. And while they're still having, and these women, or what they join are solidarity groups. So these women are still maintaining a group environment where they maintain the credit in a group environment. They still have meetings with their credit agents where we are going to them. The product that we provide them is that we go to the group, we go to the areas that they are, the most rural areas. We serve them in their areas, and we serve them to the group and give them those solidarity micro loans. And with the loans also, we continue with the complementary services that provided by the foundation, continue with the education, whether it's business education, life skills education, topics such as hurricane readiness, topics where COVID or cholera or different topics that affects their lives and the community that they live in. So we and with the foundation, we can continue this type of education while we also giving them the financial services that they need. And not only the microloan, but we also encourage these women for savings, because the savings is very important to be able to be, the word you don't like to use, resiliency. So to us, credit and savings go hand in hand, because with the savings, you are able, the credit allow you to grow your business and attain certain things, but the savings you're doing, it helps improve your quality of life, not just the business that we're doing. So we continue those type of education with these ladies. And actually we have a success story, and I think it's coming out of the annual report. One of our ladies that started with a very micro loan, now that has a loan over $1 million goods with us. She's considered one of our SME client, one of the bigger SME clients in the Wanamed area. So it's that pathway where they're starting along the line, and you continue to grow with them and continue to provide them the services and the assistance and the education that they need to pull themselves out. Again, the Fonkoze family is not about handing, it's about empowering. And I like the messages that about the CLM, when these ladies graduate, the pride that they feel. Even these ladies in the solidarity group, when they move from solidarity to individual loans and credit, there is this empowerment that you provide for them, for their family, for the community. Even with the boutique santé is not just the those that represent the agent, the community health agents for boutique santé. When they go into a community, they take pride in the basics that they know to provide, not just preventive care, but they know how to counsel other members of the community or of their group about basic things that they've learned from the nurses. So it's a holistic approach, but it's above all, it's an empowering approach and empowering these ladies.
Yeah, that's good.
Thank you, Marie-Claire. Lee, you had your hand up.
Hi, Lee. You're still on mute.
Here I am. Hi to everybody that I know and don't know. I used to be Erlance. I used to have Erlance's job. Anyway, I just wanted to say a couple of things besides hello to a lot of people I recognize. One thing that always struck me about, I learned to just love CLM. Once we really got it underway, it just became like my favorite thing. But one thing I like to talk about are these case managers.
Yeah.
They, you know, when we say we're serving in really remote areas, I mean, these young men and women are walking a lot and riding motorcycles and to get to these CLM members, and they are solving all kinds of problems, you know, on these weekly visits.
Mhm.
They're like social workers. I mean, it's really amazing what they do, and that always impressed me. And I loved how you were talking about it's all in the eyes. You know, we used to say, we used to have all these requirements for women to graduate from the program, but one of the requirements was that they have a plan for their future, or they feel, you know, it was confidence, and that's kind of hard to measure. But I used to always say it was because you would meet the women when they first started the program, they wouldn't look you in the eyes, they would always look down. And after 18 months, they would be arguing over who was going to speak in front of 400 people at the graduation. You know, that was the transformation that always got to me. And I loved those graduation ceremonies.
Yeah.
And the third thing I'll say is I just returned from vacation where I got to visit my dear friend, Sister Mary Healy.
Oh.
In Connecticut.
Yeah.
She was my boss at the Washington office on Haiti 30 years ago. And we've remained very close ever since. So it was really good to see her, and Dolly.
That's good. May I make a comment, Lee? Mary was one of the ones that I went with in 2016, and it was like going with royalty. Whenever we went to any group, they all knew Mary, and it was just amazing too. So I can see why you liked her.
She's very inspirational.
Yes, yes. The other, I just also like to underline, I think that accompaniment is the secret sauce for the success of this. Just exactly what you were saying, that a case manager walks with each woman. And so for 18 months, you have somebody guiding you, walking with you, and that sort of things. I think, and so to me, I think that the change that happens because of all the components of CLM and the ability to socialize, you know, that and when we compare the difference between at the beginning and at the end and graduation, the difference within their person, I think, is just wonderful, which I think is one of the key values of both Mercy Focus on Haiti and CLM, is belief in the potential of each woman. And I think that CLM has that value, that they somehow in the recruitment, whatever, they believe that every woman has great potential, and they just tap it. It's just tapped in that combination of things. So that, anyway, I like CLM too.
If I could, I would say two things. One is that, Sister Kathy, in my experience, it has nothing to do with the recruitment. It's that when our staff meets the women we're working with, that's a transformative experience in all kinds of ways.
Okay.
So they become that way. The
Yeah.
other thing is, I would like to give a very specific example I saw yesterday of the importance of accompaniment, because I visited a woman in Bombardopolis who just joined the program. She had received 15,000 goods, which is a little over $100, to invest in getting a business started. She was very, very excited. She had figured out a business that will make her money pretty certainly without a lot of risk. And she's selling cooking charcoal. So she was so excited about the opportunity, she bought 15,000 goods worth of cooking charcoal that she was proudly showing to her case manager and to me. And we started talking to her, and she's very excited about this. The reality is, there's no way, with the means at her disposal, for her to bring more than about 1,500 goods, or a tenth of that, to market on any given day. So she has 3 weeks worth of charcoal just sitting around her house. Whereas if she could kind of tune down the enthusiasm a little bit, buy smaller amounts of charcoal more often, she'd be making the same amount of money, and she'd have some of her money to invest in something else. But in her excitement, she didn't really see that. So watching her case manager go through that issue with her and help her see that there's more that she can do with her money is a remarkable experience. And that's the kind of thing that will make the difference between her getting somewhere better than where she was and really growing. And that's where the accompaniment is exactly the secret sauce.
Thank you, Stephen. Time is really going fast. We're already at 6:50, and I want to give a chance to everyone here with us to ask questions if they have. So the way to do that, you put it in the chat, and I will ask our panelists. So we have two questions here. The first, I think both is Stephen questions, but we'll see. Is there still an emphasis on livestock? I know that it has been one of the three options. I think I remember reading a report that said perhaps there should be less focus on livestock or more emphasis on small businesses.
Yeah, I think it's complicated because culturally livestock is really important. People in the countryside who have livestock self-identify as being better off than people who
Yeah.
don't. So it's really important to let people do that for themselves. Livestock does not bring in a steady stream of income. So someone who invests in livestock needs to be thinking about other things to do as well. We try not to focus too much on getting our energy behind one option or another option because everyone's in a slightly different situation. So our case managers really are individualizing the advice that they give and the coaching, and that's part of what makes it work. But I saw people yesterday that had too much commerce and too little livestock. I saw a couple who had too much livestock and too little commerce, and it's just something that has to be worked out along an 18-month journey. Does that help?
Sure it does. The next question is how the women identified and selected for the program?
Yeah, that is complicated. So there are now two ways that happens, but they are related to each other. You know, what we want to avoid doing is having to do a lengthy survey at every household in every community. So we need initially to have a list of the families in a community who might qualify for the program. And there are two ways we get those lists. One way is that we do a series of community meetings called participatory wealth ranking, where we facilitate an activity where members of the community categorize every household in the community in one of 5 wealth ranks. And the families that fall into the top 3 ranks, we just don't go back to them, and we only continue with a list of the families in the 2 poorest categories. The other way we get a preliminary list is using, in some communes, the government has done comprehensive surveying, and some of the places we go, that surveying is even fairly up to date. And so we take their survey as our initial list. But whatever the initial list is, it goes through 2 levels of verification. Our general field staff goes and extensively surveys people and makes a recommendation according to a set of inclusion and exclusion criteria that we've been using, modified slightly for years. That gives us a new, smaller list. And then we take that smaller list and we have a member of the management team go and individually interview each woman on that list to make a final judgment as to whether the person qualifies for the program. So that's the process.
Thank you, Steven. You have 2 minutes to answer 2 questions.
All right.
So the first one is how is success is measured and when? In other words, is the result sustained? And the second one is how do you recruit, train, and retain the agents?
Okay, the second one I'll answer first because that's a shorter answer. We just do the same thing any business does. We do, we announce job openings and we take whatever resumes we get and we put them through exams, and then we train them quite a bit, and we continue training them during the course of all their time they spend with us. The other one is a more complicated question. We routinely evaluate members at baseline after 12 months in the program and at 17 months to determine whether they qualify for graduation. occasionally we receive additional funding, which enables us to evaluate members 2 or 4 or 6 years after they graduate. Generally speaking, those post-graduation evaluations have always shown roughly the same thing, and that is that about 2/3 of the families we work with either sustain or they build on their progress. One of the things we did with the most recent evaluation, which was in fact financed by Mercy Focus on Haiti, was we tried to look most carefully at that 1/3, because 2/3 is great, but having 1/3 of people who are losing some of their progress is a little bit shocking too. So we wanted to really look at the numbers, and the reality is, even that 1/3, on average, they're very far ahead of where they were when they joined the program, according to a range of criteria. Like, they have savings. They never had savings before. They have some productive assets, though less than they had when they graduate. And they still view themselves as being well beyond where they viewed themselves when they joined the program. So the evidence we have, insofar as we have evidence, is that the results of this program are sustained.
Thank
Was
you.
that 2 minutes?
Yes, you did perfectly. I have 2 minutes now to conclude and let people go have their dinner. And I think one of the attendees gave me the perfect comment to conclude our conversation this evening. So the comment is from Danette Miller. The transformation that takes place is incredible. They are often forgotten and so poor that they are not counted in the community census. Through accompaniment and empowerment, they become leaders in their community and help others. Thank you, Fonkoze, CLM, for life giving the work. Thank you, everyone, for taking some time to have this conversation. Thank you to Stephen, to Marie-Claire Dorcely, Sister Kathy, and Marion. And of course, thank you to Betty.
Thank you so much, Lance.
Kevin and Samantha holding on the fort.
And Samantha, yes.
Thank you, everyone.
Congratulations, you guys, again. I was asking Samantha, for having served 50,500 families throughout Haiti is a huge achievement. You guys have really, as I said before, you are changing the lives of families in communities throughout Haiti. So great work. Keep up the good work.
Yes.
Thank you. And
for your support.
Oh, definitely. Yes.
thank you. Hey, Lance, if you don't mind, I think this one question got hidden. Dawn asked, do you stay in a community and keep targeting the individuals there? So would there be a second or third cohort? And I thought maybe that could be enlightening kind of for the behind the scenes, how this all works. If you would like to.
We go from community to community. Gautier, the founding director of the program, used to compare us to a broom. We go to one, we sweep one community with the ambition to clear it of ultra poverty, and then go to the next one.
And within our partnership with Mercy Focus on Haiti, we do stay within the Gwo Mòn community because there are
well, Gwo Mon's a big commune that has lots of communities in it.
A commune, yes, rather. So we are all of this work is within this one area, but it's really just like Stephen said. So just wanted to put that out there.
Yeah,
And I just think that CLM is a pearl of great price, and that it has benefited any person who has participated in that program. It's not an easy program, and but it is a pearl of great price. So keep on keeping on.
All right.
Thank you, everyone.
Thank you, everyone.
Thank you, Evans. Thank you.
Bye.
Thank
Bye-bye.
you. Good night. Good night.
Good night.